All right, on today's episode of Top Tier Tips, I'm going to show you guys how I expect you to perform the lateral step overs holding the kettlebells racked and renegade rows, because our GPP WOD today involves a lot of stabilization work. All right, so the kettlebell racked lateral step overs are a great way to combine a front rack carry with lateral hip stability work. And then the renegade rows is a great way to train anti-rotation. So your oblique and hip musculature, so that they're much more stable, protects you during your sprints and your jumps and your squats and your weightlifting. So let's look at the lateral step over first. All right, so it's a kettlebell racked version. So we're taking two kettlebells, two objects, and we're gonna front rack them. Again, always in that front rack, you want to suck your elbows into your ribs and literally make your tricep part of your rib cage, right? And then you're going to make sure that the bar is about knee height, and you're going to take your time. One leg is coming up into hip flexion while you lock, in this case, my left leg. And then I rotate over, shift my leg, and now I'm going to lock the right leg as I rotate over, right? So I find a rhythm. And what's important here, what I like people to accentuate, is the locked hip position and the end range of motion of hip flexion. So try and make it so your bar is set to a challenging height, so you have to come to your end and then rotate and step, rather than having a smaller height that's a lot easier, like I would be now, right? At the same time, you put it too high, what'll happen is you'll pick that leg up and then you'll have to hike the hip to reach over, right? So try not to do the hip hike, right? Try and keep the level hips, end range of motion, step over, end range of motion, step over, all the while keeping that front rack. All right, it's a great stability exercise. Your renegade rows for today's WOD, you get two kettlebells. I would suggest you don't use the two that I have. If you use the pink ones, they should be the bigger competition version, or you can use dumbbells for this as well. You also can use no weight or scale it to a single weight, right? A dumbbell works best in that case. So what we want is to stay over top of the kettlebell, and we do not want any sort of rotation of the hips. We don't want any elevation of the hips. So I stay over top of my kettlebell, I'm into a plank, and I'm doing my sets, all right, whatever I'm deciding to do them for. So you don't want a turn of the hip. That's incorrect. Again, I can scale it to doing palm on the ground, keep my plank. A dumbbell works best for that because of range of motion. And I can also just stay in a plank and touch opposite shoulders, right? So renegade row is, frankly, it's a more advanced plank exercise. So we're really doing a 3-point plank while moving a weight. All right, so that's your tips for today's WOD. Enjoy, it's challenging. I just completed it, and I'm exhausted. Have fun.